In this lesson we'll be using the file called Chapter 2 Selections.psd. Many times we'd like to work on a specific part of a Photoshop file, and in order to do that we've got to be able to make selections. There are many ways to make selections inside of Photoshop, and we're going to look at several of them now. On the manual selection side, we've got a number of selection tools. Over here you'll see the rectangular marquee tool, and with it you can simply draw a rectangle. That's now your selection. If you click and hold, you'll see that there's also an elliptical marquee as well as a single row of pixels or single column of pixels that you can choose. Let's choose the elliptical marquee tool and draw an oval. Once you have a selection, you can copy, you can paste, you can do all kinds of things. You can even move pixels from one document to another. You can also apply filters and adjustments to just that selection. We'll see how to do that in greater detail in another part of this chapter. Another way that we can make selections is to use our lasso tool over here. Select it, and now you can draw any shape you like, and it will become a selection. Also under there, you'll see the polygonal and the magnetic lasso tools. All of these can be used to make selections. Picking the magnetic tool, you can draw by clicking, and as you move around, you'll see that it's sort of snapping to some of these areas. Let's zoom in to see this a little bit better. Press Command plus on the Macintosh or Control plus on a Windows computer to zoom in. You can see that Photoshop keeps us focused on the area where we're working. So now I can move down a little bit. Looks like I missed that. We'll try again. Start over here, click there, click down there. I can move along here. You can see it's kind of following along and building a little path as I go. Click, click. This is a pretty handy little thing because it's going to follow that path and try to meet it as best as it can. And so you could trace this entire building using the magnetic lasso tool. Double click anywhere and it will close the selection. This isn't a very useful selection. I'd like to deselect it. If you look under the Select menu, at the top you'll see Deselect. We can also select by color range. Let's zoom out to fill the screen. We can use Control-0 on a Windows computer or Command-0 on a Macintosh to show the entire picture. I'd like to select just this kid right here. And I can do that using my lasso tool, or I could use my magic wand tool. Click and hold to reveal the magic wand tool. Now the magic wand tool is going to look at areas that are available to me, and it's going to make an attempt to select similar items. Well, that really wasn't quite what I was looking for. If I were looking for solid colors, maybe that would have been the right choice. If I have an image that has solid colors, then the magic wand tool can be a great way to select or isolate a specific solid color. Let's try it over here on this red jacket. Aha, so that did a pretty good job of isolating just the red jacket. There's a better way to make some of these isolated selections though, and it's the Quick Select tool. Under the magic wand you'll see Quick Selection tool. The Quick Selection tool allows you to click and drag on objects to select them very quickly. Let's take a look at this person right here. My cursor happens to be large, but I can reduce it by using the left-hand bracket. This happens to be to the right of the P key on most keyboards. Type that key and it will reduce the size of the brush. To use the Quick Selection tool, simply click in an area and drag, or just click and wait. In this case, this person was selected automatically. Let's try this child in the front. Click on the hat and start to drag down. All I'm doing is holding my mouse button as I drag down, and now I've got most of this person selected. Let's try this one more time. But first, let's deselect all of the other pixels that are selected. Under Select, choose Deselect, and let's go ahead and select the boy. Start with the hat, click and drag around the hat and the face. It's okay if we get things we don't want right now. We'll go back and fix them. Then grab the coat. Click and drag across the coat, and then down into the pants, and also down into the pants here. And you'll notice that we've got more than we wanted. but that's easy to fix. Hold down your Alt key on your Windows computer or your Option key on your Macintosh and click and drag outside the area that you want to select. You'll notice that your cursor changes to a minus sign, and the Quick Selection tool learns we want to remove these pixels from our selection. There's a little bit over here in the red coat, we'll take care of that, and then over here as well. Just click and drag to remove the pixels we don't want, or just simply touch it. And again, it's alright if we remove too much, we can always go back and fix it later. So click in here, and then release the Option key or the Alt key, and you can click and drag through the pants to bring the pants back in. So the Quick Selection tool remembers the areas that you have selected already and allows you to then make quick adjustments. Hold down that Alt or Option key to remove the areas, and we're getting very close to having selected just the boy. I'd say that's good enough for my purposes right here. Although let's include the hand here. Let's make our brush a little bit smaller. We can change the size here by simply clicking on the brush and making it smaller. You'll see it's smaller now. And then we'll just click on the hand. Click and hold will select all the hand, and then hold down our Alt or Option key and we can remove this bit right here. I'd also like to get a little bit of this flower. So simply click on the flower and then hold down your Alt or Option key and we'll get rid of some of this other space. Some of this gray space. Good. That's good enough. That's great for what I'm trying to do now. I have a selection and I'd like to now select the opposite. And there's a specific reason why. Many times when we make selections, what we really want to do is to make adjustments to the background. In this case, what I'd like to do is to make the background black and white, and this will allow us to focus our attention on this boy. Under Select, choose Inverse. Now we've selected everything that we hadn't selected before, and the last thing I'd like to do is to make the background look like it's black and white. Under Image, choose Adjustments, and then you'll see black and white here in the middle. Let's keep the defaults and say OK. Wow! Now I've got a really powerful black and white image with a color picture in the front of this kid leaving the scene. There are many other effects that you can explore. These can appear here under the Adjustments or under the Filter menu, and you'll see many of these filters here. Once you have a selection, you can then apply various filters to it. I'll leave you to explore the filter menus on your own. The last thing we'll do is show you how to save a selection. So let's invert this image again. Under the Select menu, choose Inverse. And let's save this selection that we've got right now so that we can use it later. Under the Select menu, choose Save Selection. Let's give it a name. We'll call it Boy. And click OK. Now let's deselect. Under Select, choose Deselect. We can load that selection at any time so that we can continue editing just that area of the image. Under Select, choose Load Selection, and you'll see the channel list here. In this case, we only have one additional channel, and it's called Boy. By default, it will build a new selection, but if I already had a selection, I could add to, subtract, or intersect from the existing selections. Now I have that selection again. So selections are a way for you to isolate parts of the image that you'll then apply changes to, whether it's through filters, through adjustment layers, or other methods. Now would be a great time to save and close your work.